Hey guys, welcome back to Real Estate Informed, the channel that keeps you up to date on all things real estate. My name is Kevin, and today's topic, I really want to discuss how the market will change. I did a video a couple days ago about signs in the market, because every market is different. So signs in the market that you should see when you start seeing a decline in prices, things that you should look out for. Today, I'm actually going to discuss what I think will happen and what I think the economy will do and what I think how real estate will be affected. My personal opinion on this whole topic of, I think everyone knows inevitably we're not going to have a V-shaped recovery. We're not going to have we were down for a couple of months, we were in quarantine, and now we get out of quarantine and we're going to go right back up. That's just not how economics works. So obviously there's two ends. There's the banking system, there's the economy, there's unemployment, and then obviously all of that and what this channel has to do with is real estate. All of that is going to affect real estate. There's no way that you can have so much unemployment and have it not have any effect on real estate. And I understand that there's real estate agents out there, there's articles out there right now saying that there's multiple office situations and, hot markets like San Francisco and Seattle are just booming right now. I don't think that's the full picture. I think that you need to really dive into certain things about real estate that you'll understand later. One of the first things I want to discuss about things about real estate that other things are affected by is the stock market. The stock market is almost instantaneous. Suppose there's a drug that comes out that can cure this pandemic, cure this disease, and the next day the stock market will go extremely high in whatever company is making that drug. It's almost instantaneous, right? Next day, it affects the stock market. Real estate is not like that. That's not how real estate runs and operates. And so there's always a 30-day to 60-day close. So closings that you see now that are happening, that the news and everyone else is hyping up, or even, properties that are going under contract now, that was from, 30 to 60 days ago. The properties are closing now. Properties that are hitting the market now, even now, if you see properties that are going under contract, it's not... On the surface, I understand what you're saying, that, the market must be booming, but in reality, it could just be the dummy still buying. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's always people who are bullish on the market, and there's always people who are just going to make bad decisions. I mean, think about 2008, you know what I mean? Lehman Brothers fell in September of 2008, and there were still houses that sold in November, October, and November of that year for sky-high prices because people just weren't reading the news or just didn't know, and the news wasn't really reporting that much on it, you know what I mean? Lehman Brothers fell. They never said anything about real estate. They never said anything about the loan program. They just said Lehman Brothers fell. Oh, a bank fell. Okay, Wells Fargo goes under. What does that mean? It means everything to real estate. So it's not instantaneous. It happens over time. And more further evidence of that would be the market. Lehman Brothers fell in 2008, September 2008. It took 2009, 10, 11, 12. It took 4 years for real estate to hit rock bottom. That's how real estate is. It's not instantaneous. Okay, so I just want to quickly put out what I think is going to happen in the market. I think homes are still selling. I'm in the Seattle area. I still think homes are still selling. I think that the impact of this pandemic has not shown its face to real estate yet. It's coming, but it's not there yet. Houses are going on the market. There might be multiple office situations, but I feel like we're not there yet. And the reason for that is this. So we already got a first stimulus check for $1,200. Most people got from $1,200. If you had kids, you got more. Some people didn't get any if they made too much money. But whatever, there was this, CARES Act, $1,200 stimulus. Now they're working on a second stimulus. The second stimulus, there might be $2,000 a month for 6 months. There might be $1,200 for, just another one payment of $1,200. They're talking about, giving people with, any child over 16 and over gets $2,000 a month, or just one payment of $2,000. I mean, there's so many things being run through I think it's the People's Act that passed through the House, and now they're going to do the Senate. And a lot of the things that they presented aren't going to pass the Senate. And one of the things that you really want to pay attention to, because I'm a property manager, I'm not only I own a property management company. I, buy and sell real estate. I rehab real estate. I invest in real estate. I'm a landlord myself. But I also have a property management company, and me seeing rents, the way the rents are being collected, I'm seeing this already, that one thing to really, really, really look out for is that in this second stimulus plan, there's a specific topic of the unemployment. So when the CARES Act passed in late March, they gave $600 federally, right, to people who were unemployed, and also independent contractors, because usually independent contractors don't fall under unemployment. But in this case, the government put them under that umbrella also, which was great. It helped people. But I think the problem with that was that people, they were getting $600 federally. Then they were getting plus their whatever state unemployment was giving them, $200, $300, whatever. So if you add $600 plus $300, you're making $900 a week. 900 times 4 is $3,600, a month. If you keep going, if you keep like adding those numbers up, you start to realize that, people are making more money in unemployment because of the federal 600 that they were getting than they normally would make at their normal job. And so this $600 federally is going all the way to July, the last week of July. My prediction of what's going to happen in real estate largely depends on what the Senate passes. And the Senate has already said that they're under recess now. They're going to make a decision late June, early July. So right now we're in the first week of June. So it's not going to be what you think it is. We're going to have to wait the entire month of June just to get a decision out of them. But once we get that decision, I can have a clearer view of like, okay, real estate's going to go this way, real estate's going to go this way. And I'll tell you those two things. The first thing that the People's Act that they're going to pass in late June or early July is going to be this. It's already gone through the House. It's going to go through the Senate now. And the Senate is going to negotiate with the Democrats, and the Republicans have to negotiate with each other to pass this through the Senate. So it can go one of two ways, in my opinion. And they've thrown out ideas all over, giving them a $1,200 check, giving them a $2,400 check, giving them continuing on the $600 a week till January 2021. Everything has been thrown out there. What's going to be passed or not, I wish I had that crystal ball. But I can tell you that one of two things are really going to happen. The first thing is going to happen is they're going to continue the $600 a week till January 2021. If that happens, in my personal opinion, I don't think real estate is going to be affected that much until after people stop receiving that $600 federally. That's my opinion. And so that's just because right now, as a property manager, collecting rents from houses that cost $3,000 a month to rent to, collecting rent that's, $1,200 a month for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment, I've, realized that this $600 is basically what's holding everything together. If this $600 did not exist, my rental income would significantly decrease because these people, they need to go back to work. But, you'll read news articles that say that only 42% of people that were laid off can go back to work. Do you understand what I mean? And so, just think about restaurants and waiters and waitresses, and, you're only going to have, let's say, 25% to 50% of the tables available. Well, then you got to cut your staff. You don't need 3 cooks. You can have 1 cook. You only have half the tables out there. Do you understand what I mean? And so that's just the restaurant business. Now think about think about tech companies that are leaving people at home and saying, hey, work from home, we're good to go. We don't need you to come in. Usually once a week we'll do a Zoom call and we're good to go. We'll call it even Steven. And then they're starting to realize that, hey, we don't need these many employees. Maybe let's cut a couple software engineers. It's every job, every field. There's nurses and doctors that are getting laid off right now. You know what I mean? Because hospitals, in that 1 month or 1.5 months of quarantine, that they had to, focus strictly on just the patients with the virus, they realized that all of the surgeries, all of the x-rays, people coming in for just normal, sicknesses, just the cold, the flu, and they would charge insurance companies thousands and thousands of dollars. That didn't happen when this pandemic was going on. No one went to the clinic. No one was just going because they felt dizzy. You know what I mean? They were all focused on one virus, and that was it. And hospitals, clinics, they lost tons and tons and tons of money. So it's not just one, it's not just people who work in a restaurant. It's not just people in the medical field. It's not just people, working in software or whatever. Everybody was affected. So if they continue this 600 unemployment all the way through January, I don't see real estate being affected. I think people are going to continue to pay their rent, continue to pay their mortgage. We're not going to see foreclosures until January 2021. It's going to happen. It's just that you're basically extending it. The second thing that, the second route that I could see it going is that someone in the Senate or the House, someone had mentioned that you can let's do $450 for people to encourage people to go back to work. So instead of getting $650 being laid off, you get $450 a week for I don't know how long, 6 months, whatever. But if you go back to work and you could prove that you went back to work, if you went back to work, you get $450 every week, which is good because that stimulates the economy, that keeps the economy rolling and going, which makes sense. I fully agree with that. In sense of real estate, then, what you're basically doing is you're still paying people as they go back to work. So it'll kind of solve the economic issue. But real estate wise, people are still going to get paid $450, and plus they're going to go back to work. So then, we're talking about a foreclosure crisis, people not paying their rent, so many of these issues. I just don't see that happening if the government is going to provide assistance. And then obviously we can always have the option of at the end of July, they might just cut off no $450 if you go back to work, no $600 of unemployment. It's done. It's a wrap. 42% of the population goes back to work, and the rest, 58%, just stay at home. If that happens, that 58% that stays at home or that is struggling, that doesn't get back to work, and they don't have any government assistance. They stop the $600 per week federally because the state's only going to give them $200-300 a week. That's not enough to survive on the $600 really impacted and actually helped people. If they stop that, we're going to see foreclosures. We're going to see a lot of evictions. We're going to see a lot of landlords in a lot of trouble because there was I buy property with, 20% return cash on cash. Impossible to get. Sometimes you can find deals, sometimes you can't. I'm very picky, but there's investors out there or so-called investors out there that, buy real estate with, 5% cash on cash return. And even that's not a literal return. That's only based on, hey, I'm going to, buy this property and then I'm going to increase the rents $500 on each unit. Really? Like that's your investing strategy, not to, create value, not to add value, but buy this overpriced property because, we're at the peak in the real estate market and we're at the peak in this real estate market. And now you want to, try to cash in and you're barely making $400 a month of cash flow, $300 a month of cash flow. If something goes south, such as, like a pandemic, you're going to be, you're going to be the first ones to go. And I know you guys were so-called, investors, but, it's really going to separate, the wannabe investors from the actual real investors, because there's a lot of people when the peak of the market is going on, it's just keeping up with the Joneses. They just want to, dibble and dabble, put their toe in the water of real estate, and they buy some, duplex or fourplex extremely overpriced. There's no value add opportunity. The property's basically perfect, and they want to go in and just raise rents and try to, garner as much cash flow as they can and run it that way. And it just doesn't work. It literally does not work. And they'll hold on if the market's in a high spot. But soon as something like a pandemic hits, soon as something like unemployment hits, it's just not going to last. The thing that's holding it up right now is the $600 federally that the government's providing assistance. 40 million people have applied for unemployment. That's roughly 21.7% of the working population. Basically, over 1 in 5 people have applied for unemployment. When you see those numbers and you try to calculate that with all the rents and all the mortgages that people are going to have to pay, Just think about it. I mean, that's almost like 1 in 5 houses is going to go under. And another thing that we haven't even discussed yet is when this $600 is cut off. If it's not cut off, then we're not going to see some sort of real estate crash for at least till January 2021. But if it is cut off at the end of July, then we're going to start seeing, late payments from landlords, late payments from homeowners, because they're not going to be able to, 58% of the population is going to stay at home because they're not going to be brought back to work. And then we're going to start seeing foreclosures and evictions. The problem with that is now banks and the government are kind of linking together, giving a 3-month forbearance period. Now, once again, in the House bill and now in the Senate, we don't know what they're going to pass, but if they pass something, which I've heard rumors and I've heard articles and I've seen articles about this, where they might do a 1-year forbearance where you don't have to pay your mortgage for 1 year. And that's including for landlords. So if they don't have to pay their mortgage for 1 year, then where's the real estate crash? When is that going to happen? It's not going to happen if the government interferes and steps in and takes away, hey, there's mortgage forbearance. You just don't pay your mortgage for a year, and that's pretty much it. And so where's the real estate crash then? It's not there. It's non-existent. We have to wait a year until the mortgage forbearance is over. So that's another thing that's, that we have to wait till the end of June or first week of July to see what the Senate passes. Because if they don't pass a mortgage forbearance, then they already have a 3-month mortgage forbearance put in place. But if they don't pass it, then 3 months is up. It takes 90 days to foreclose. Then in 90 days from July, we'll start seeing, foreclosures. We'll start seeing evictions. But if you don't see that, and you see the governments tell all the banks that, hey, you got to put them in mortgage forbearance for a year, and just add that to the end of the loan that they owed for that entire year, just add it to the end of the loan. They don't owe it at the end of the forbearance period. Then where's the housing crisis? I don't see one. That's my prediction. I just don't see one. If the government's going to come in and, save the public, then real estate kind of in hand gets saved. Another thing to consider is in June and July, most states, I know in the state of Washington it's June 4th, they might extend it, they might not extend it, but there's an eviction memorandum that you cannot evict someone until June 4th. As of today's June 4th, and we haven't gotten any extension on that. We got one in April where they had it for March, and then they extended it to, April, and then from April 27th or April 17th, they extended it to June 4th. Are we going to get another extension that, hey, you can't evict someone for 6 months? We've seen it happen in Seattle. We don't know about, I'm outside of Seattle. I'm in the suburbs of Seattle. So, in other states, are they going to extend the memorandum, or are they going to keep the memorandum at where it's at? Because if they keep it, we're going to start seeing evictions, and we're going to start seeing, evictions, people not paying their rent, homelessness going up. That'll get the ball rolling of, okay, we're really, post-pandemic, we're really going to feel it. Because honestly, I don't feel like we feel the pandemic right now. I know there's a lot of pain and a lot of hurt, but I don't think we see or feel the pandemic as much as we should, because the government's kind of propping us up right now. They're giving us, stimulus checks. They have another stimulus check, on the way. We don't know how much it's going to be for. We don't know how long the mortgage forbearance. We don't know how long the unemployment 600 federally is going to be lasting. We don't know. But as soon as we do, that'll give a better picture. So my final prediction, with all of this information that I've given you, that, kind of can go one way or the other. The Senate and, whatever passed through the House, the Senate is going to vote on that late June. They're on a recess now for some reason. Why are you on a recess? I mean, our country is in absolute ruins right now, and you decide to go on a recess for 2 weeks. I think that's pathetic. It's embarrassing. Somebody needs to step up, and it's just sad that we don't have great leadership, because we need great leadership right now. We need someone to step up, and someone that has power, because I know that there's a lot of people who are, influencing and standing up and, protesting, and, that's great because the people need to get together. But I think someone in power, someone in politics needs to step up. And why are we going on recess when we need a stimulus plan now? We need to know what's going to happen with the $600 per week. We need to know what's happening with mortgage forbearance. We need to know all of that stuff now. We'll give you a day or two, but we need to know now. going on recess for 2 weeks and then telling, telling America essentially that, end of June, first week of July. So the entire June, we don't know. We're in limbo. We don't know, should I continue to invest in real estate? Should I buy a house today? A family that's just, starting their family, you know what I mean? Just got married, has a kid, just starting their family. Do they want to buy a house? Should they buy a house now or not? All this is all in limbo right now. They don't know what to do. And I think that the government needs to get this stimulus out, and really, focus on trying to get people back to work, and focus on, helping the people, because whatever they do, if they don't extend it, they don't do this, they don't do that, they don't do the mortgage forbearance, then we're going to see a real estate crash. It's inevitable. I think the government is going to prop this up till November. Until the elections go by, I don't see real estate falling. I think they're going to prop it up. They're going to keep decreasing. You've seen it before. They'll keep decreasing the interest rates to keep them propped up. They're going to, extend mortgage forbearance. They already did it for 3 months. They're going to extend it for another 3 months. Whatever they got to do to keep us up and propped up till November elections, they're going to do. Whether that means stimulus checks, and those, instead of doing $2,000 a month for 6 months, they'll just give you another $1,200 and wait till November till you get it. Do you know what I mean? It's just, it's so political. I just think that the actions of, our House, our Senate, and our politics and our president will really dictate what happens in real estate. And I'm waiting for the second stimulus and what all it includes for the unemployment, when they're going to stop it, how far they're going to continue it up to. Are they going to have a $450 back to work, payment that they're going to pay people who go back to work? If they do, great. If they don't, then, we already know where real estate is headed, because you're going to see foreclosures and evictions. But that's just my prediction. I think that with all of the things I just mentioned, if they go one way, then real estate gets saved, and we're on the road to recovery, and we'll just manage, and we'll kind of flatline out and do fine, and kind of essentially be a V-shaped recovery. But if not, if we don't get the $600 a week, and we don't get mortgage forbearance, and we don't get this and we don't get that, then, or maybe they just prop it up till November, then after November, it's just all going to fall. And when it falls, foreclosures increase, people aren't going back to work, evictions happen, and then that's when you'll start to see real estate start to fall. And so the last video I gave you, input on the signs to see in a market, but this is just more of a personal opinion piece of how I feel real estate, will do, if and when this next stimulus passes, and what's in it. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you watching my video. I know we're in tough and trying times. It's very difficult, but I just try to provide the most honest information that I can, and help people out, because I know there's a lot of people out there that are trying to buy a house, trying to invest in real estate, trying to do something positive, and they're just trying to time it. And I just give my honest opinion. I give over 10 years of experience to real estate in an extremely hot market. If you like my videos, please comment, please thumbs it up. It really helps me out. Please subscribe. I try to give the most educated, up-to-date, information on my channel. If you guys have any comments, please leave them in the comments below so I can answer them on my next video. I love and appreciate you guys. And, until the next video, see you guys. Bye.